Jalen Watson could be coming back for the playoffs?
Playoffs?
Because we ruined the Bengals playoffs?
I don't know. Let's get into it. From the heart of Kansas City, we bring you Bucket Bob, Take On, Chiefs Kingdom, and Mel.
I'm Buck.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mel.
And we aren't fancy analysts, but we have just as many bad takes. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we haven't talked in a bit. We did so many episodes so fast, and then got time off. It was a little weird. I was just kind of like, what are we podcasting?
Yeah.
For the bye week.
I know, every day I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting something right now.
Yep. Who knew that, doing the podcast, we should have known, but you just don't think about that. But hey guys, we're getting in here. We're going to talk. We're doing the show a little earlier because, we've got New Year's Eve coming up and everything else. So doing the show a little bit earlier, we're going to talk about the upcoming game with the Broncos, kind of some of the storylines going into that, and I don't know. It's kind of going to be all over the place because there's not really a ton to talk about with the Broncos game, but we have some other storylines. Let's just start off at the top with a couple different storylines. Let's start off. Jalen Watson's been adamant about coming back. He's been hinting that he's coming back for, since just a couple weeks after he went out, right? So he's tweeting again. Now he's tweeting him running full speed. And, I didn't see any tweets of him making sharp cuts, which is what I would be concerned about him doing as a corner. But
what was his injury?
What do you think? It was a broken ankle, right?
Oof. So if he's ready for Sunday, do we want him to play on Sunday? Or would it just benefit him to get that extra time just to heal up? I mean, he's the kind of guy that I don't think he needs a whole lot of warm-up time. He's been with the team now for a minute, and he's got a good idea of the system. Does he need that time out there? Like DJ Humphries, he probably needs that time out there just to get more in tune with the plays and how they're being called and all that. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Mel?
I don't know. I don't think Jalen Watson necessarily needs a game just because I feel like he's going to be better than what our other corners are doing right now. But I don't know that it would hurt at least to play some of the snaps. I don't think we want him in there full time. But I also don't know, if he's not 100%, I don't want him in there at all.
Yep.
I'd rather save him.
Yeah. There's no reason other than just to kind of get him back to football speed.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the practices are just going to get ramped up anyway, so he's not the fall off from real game speed to the practice speed. I think is going to be pretty minimal at this point going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so I don't think he needs it.
Well, if he could play this week, I think they would have taken him off of IR. I think he's more for the playoffs. But Andy Reid's been very cryptic about it, but he didn't count it out. He said, we'll keep monitoring the situation and see, what happens. But yeah, I mean, if he could come back for the playoffs,
that would be great. Yes, would love it.
All right.
Agreed.
Other stories. Pacheco got hurt, but there's no documentation of it. He's not on the injury report.
Was it in practice then?
No, it was in the game.
No, in the last game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a rib injury.
Yeah, and he came out. I don't know that he went back in after that.
No, he didn't. But it was towards the end of the game.
Yeah, and it looked like he fell on the ball. I thought he just got the wind knocked out of him, but yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. But Andy commented on it. He said he'll probably keep him out and probably won't have him in. So yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure why
Didn't appear to
that's
be
not.
anything serious, right?
Any starter that isn't 100% needs
Yeah.
to sit this game, and I mean 100%. Kelsey needs to sit because he is no longer 100% ever.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
sad.
He's just not.
Andy
Well,
Reid said that
he was
he's
during the playoffs last season, though.
He was.
He stepped up and became Travis Kelsey of old for a few games.
If you really look at it, though, I mean, over the season, he's still like one of the best tight ends. It's just we watch him. If you just look at the stats, I mean, he looks good. It's just we see him not breaking tackle. We see every game, and we see the decline. We see how he's not what he once was, and I think that's the difference here in what the rest of the league sees. Because I mean, his stats are still good. I mean, he just broke Tony Gonzalez's record. It's still got enough ups to get up there to dunk. So that was
Barely.
good to see.
Barely. He said that he felt like he almost doinked it. I mean, he did. It was like when I was in high school, I could dunk a tennis ball on a 10-foot rim, right? And that tennis ball was like barely like fingering it over, like barely. And that's kind of what he did there.
Oh, but yeah. I don't know. What else is there?
Well, hold on. I was going to say, Reed said about Pacheco that he's just a little bit tender, but he'll be back for the playoffs, no problem. But since he's a little bit tender, he said it's not serious. He just would rather give him the week off.
So that sounds like he won't play.
So then I hope he's not gonna have. I hope he doesn't have a cracked rib.
Does that mean we're gonna get a healthy dose of Carson Steele this week? Then
I think we're gonna get a healthy dose of Carson Steele and unfortunately P Ryan. Like P Ryan seems to be our like secret weapon. Nobody talks about it. I mean, Pat Mahomes. I don't know. I was kind of gone for our last episode, so I'm not really sure if I brought it up. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes flipped him a ball while he was still on the ground, just knowing that he's that much of a pro that he would still have his eyes on Mahomes and not have given up on the play and stand up and catch that ball for a first down. I mean, so I don't want P. Ryan getting hurt, man.
I don't know that we'll play. Why do you think we'll play P. Ryan?
Just because he's another option at running back, and we don't have to hurt Hunt. We can just let him rest and let Pacheco rest.
I think we want Hunt to rest. I really do.
Does P. Ryan even have 100 yards rushing this season? I don't think he does. He's been used almost predominantly in the passing game, which, hey, whatever. If we're doing backups, that's a great option to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that was a tremendous play.
But so yeah, I don't know. Are you really watching the game right now?
No.
All right, Buck, what's next?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest storyline for this game is the playoff implications for the Broncos.
And the Bengals.
And the Bengals. We kind of touched on it a minute before we went live, but would you rather spoil the Broncos or the Bengals? I said the Broncos, but as we kind of went into the episode, I've been rethinking it, and it would be great to really stick it to the Bengals.
I would rather play the Broncos in the playoffs than the Bengals.
Oh yeah, that's that's very true. Very,
Like,
very true.
I don't want the Bengals to figure something out. Now, their defense is horrendous, but their offense has been rocking it all year. So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they got some stuff. They got some
Yeah.
stuff, and if we're playing all backups, or predominantly backups. Speaking of backups, offensive line. Uh, I mean, who's going to play on our offensive line? Because unless we go with the Toonie Caliendo and then the starting rest of the offensive line, I I kind of fear for Carson having any kind of success.
True. Listen, I fear for, yeah, but I also feel like the offensive line definitely needs a little bit of a breather. They've been injury ridden already. Like, if we lose one more person in our offensive line, we are so screwed.
Yeah, but if we're playing backups, then we're throwing Carson Wentz and Carson Steele. Wow.
Mhm.
It just dawned on me we have two Carsons back there, and Pirine. We could be putting them in danger. So I don't know, man. Like, what do you go with? What do you think,
Yeah,
Bob?
I don't know.
that was helpful. Um, I'm kind of excited to give Carson Wentz a full game to see what he can do. The problem is it's going to be it's like the preseason, right? Except for our backups are going to go against their starters. So it's, a little unfair because he's not going to have the same weapons that he would have if all of the rest of our starters were playing, right?
Yeah, and they were talking about on the radio today. I can't remember which chief specialist they had on that was talking about it, but there's a good chance that we won't even see Carson Wentz for the entire game. They might get Felix Okazamu.
Oh.
Yeah, some reps in a real game.
They would
That's
have to bring him up from the
Yeah, he's on the
practice squad.
practice. Yeah.
Well, it is early. I mean, it's only Monday. They've got, I don't know when they've got their time limit to do that, but that was something the guy was talking about. So
What guy was this?
I just said I don't know.
No.
It
Yeah,
was while I was driving to work, and
that guy must think Andy Reid's a dick because Andy Reid's gonna. Is there an earthquake going on there, Buck? You were shaking hard.
sorry, man.
Yeah, I think there's no possible way Andy doesn't play Carson and give him a stage to get a starting job next year. He talked
Oh,
about
that's
it in
fair.
his presser today that he wants to keep him here selfishly, but he should be starting for an NFL team, and so therefore, you know, I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine him pulling somebody up from the practice squad to to play and kind of like messing Carson Wentz's basically
His one shot.
application for next year is basically what this game could possibly be for Wentz. But
So if that's the way he feels, then does he play him with the starting line as we know it right now to give him that opportunity? Because if you don't, then I don't really consider that
No,
much of an
no.
opportunity.
Listen, Breed's like, I'll give you an opportunity, but I'm not gonna
I'm
like
not gonna.
suffer from I'm not gonna put our team at risk to not continue on further in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, and I think everybody's gonna know that Carson Wentz, like everybody who's scouting him is also gonna know that he's out there with the backups and the starting, you know, line and everything from the Denver Broncos, because Denver has to win. This isn't a gimme game for Denver either.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is it. This is their playoffs. Their playoffs start now. Win,
Hmm.
win, and they're in. And once they're done, they're done.
Well, no, I think if they lose, they could still go, I believe, if the Dolphins, Falcons, and Bengals also lose.
I was on, and it
I
was
could be
like
wrong.
close
Could
to
be missing the
midnight.
playoff. They could be missing the tiebreaker. Well, no, because
But it
they're
was
9-7.
ESPN. It was ESPN that I was reading, and it was definitely they win and they're in. But I thought they said if they lose that they're out. But I might have
If they lose and the Bengals
misread that.
win, they no the Bengals. If they lose and the Bengals win, the Bengals have the tiebreaker.
But if
So
the Bengals lose, then the Broncos are still in, even if they lose.
I think so, depending on what Miami
I got
does.
some. I got some
The
playoff
Dolphins are
scenarios
eight
down
and
at the
eight, and the
bottom.
Bengals are 8-8. Wait, this must be from week 17. I need to see week 18, right? Oh no, just because we've played.
Yeah, the Bengals beat the Broncos on Sunday yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw. It wasn't the doink of destiny, but they pulled it off, guys.
it was the doink of doofusy. They still pulled it off, which
I know.
makes me think, I would definitely want to play the Broncos more than I want to play the Bengals. The Bengals are tested in the playoffs and could be good in the playoffs. So, and I mean, Jamar Chase can do like anything.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. Jamar Chase absolutely scares me, and I don't care who's throwing to him, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he
kind
scares
of
me
like
to death.
Jerry Rice was. You put it anywhere near him, he's going to catch it. And I'm not saying Joe Burrow's bad. I'm just saying I don't think it matters. But
With
yeah,
the way our secondary's been playing, they would eat us alive, to be honest. Like, I know we beat the Bengals. I don't care. I still don't want to play him again. I don't want to test fate. We don't need that.
Yeah.
beat the Bengals. Which game? Which close game? How did that one end? Do you remember? It wasn't the toe. That was the Ravens.
Oh, the Bengals. No, the Broncos was the one where we blocked the punt. The Bengals was. God, what was the Bengals?
I feel like the Bengals was like one of those close, controversial
It was
ones
our
too.
second game, I think.
What was the Bengals?
It was 25 to 26.
I wonder if I have notes on that here.
What? Well, dang, that's hard to remember. But either way, the Bengals are a team that seems. I don't know, man. They just scare me, even though they haven't been great this year. Their defense is atrocious. They still scare me, and I just rather not deal with them in the playoffs. And then there's another picture. I forget how it all works out, but it could work out that the Bills and Baltimore play each other, and we just have to play whoever wins. I forget how that could possibly happen, but I should have written that down. I thought, how could I forget? But
who do you think wins that game today?
What game?
The Bills Ravens.
The Bills.
I do too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
guys,
love
I
Lamar
found it, though.
Jackson, but
The Bengals we beat because there was a penalty and we were able to get a 51-yard field goal to win the game. But there was like 2 penalties back to back. Like the Bengals were called on 2, like it was the third time, I think, and then the fourth one,
for
penalties.
sure
I remember it
pass
being
interference.
Yeah,
where
it
the
was
guy was
blatant.
on
they
top
weren't.
of him like a good second or two before the ball got there. Yeah, the Bengals fans be like,
They
"Oh, bullshit."
were correct penalty calls, but it was still like 2 penalties when we were like done, right? Like we were.
Yeah, that was one of the games that we should have lost. There were like
Yeah.
3 of them this season that we absolutely the
Literally
Raiders
every
game,
game.
the
Every game,
Raiders game
almost.
with the off the guy's chest, and
Mhm.
then it became a
The
fumble
fumbled
and
step.
Bolton recovered it. That was
Mhm.
come on, man.
Yeah, the doink.
Lively. Yeah, the
Doink.
doink. Oh, man.
Yeah, the foot. I mean, there's been.
This is like the season of destiny.
Yes, it is. That's why it was the doink of destiny.
The
I
doink of
have a friend that is a Bengals fan, and she knows I'm a Chiefs fan, and so last night I was like, well, it wasn't the doink of destiny, but somehow you guys did it. And she was like, listen, if I wasn't at this game, I wouldn't believe it. But she was at the game. I was like, oh my God. Oh, and she's like, I've never wanted the Chiefs to win until this next week. And I was like, but we're gonna rest all our starters just for you. You're welcome.
You got the Doink of Destiny from me, right?
Yeah, or Nick Wright or something. I don't remember.
It had to have been me because like I haven't heard. I listened to all kinds of Chief stuff, and I haven't heard anybody else use it but me. But I was like,
I thought Nick Wright said it, but I could be wrong.
yeah. I mean, I like used it that day. Although I've used it on a bunch of stuff. I've just been using the word Destiny, but I'm just interested if that would catch on, and it was actually me that came up with it.
I'll never admit that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yep. Nobody knows Overwatch, but I was the one that came up with Jake Rat, and that shit stuck all through the pro esports scene. Okay, so yeah, but could you ever, in good conscience, lose? Intentionally lose?
No.
To
There's no
I
way
wouldn't tell them
Andy.
to throw
do
it.
this.
There's no way Andy Reid is gonna coach
No.
this game to lose.
Well,
It's not in him.
well,
But we're not gonna pull out all the stops.
I
No.
have a retort to that. If you're saying it's not in him, I say it's not in Andy to lose when stuff's on the line. But if you've paid attention over Andy's tenure here and in Philadelphia, you've noticed that playoff games are for trying new things, not ever about winning. Never about winning. Literally, don't even
Playoff
care about
Preseason, you
winning.
mean? Preseason, you mean?
Did I
Yeah,
say
okay.
playoff? My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay,
I
my
know.
bad.
I was like, I feel
That's
like you're making a point here, but I think it might be off a little.
Just a little bit. Yeah. So Andy.
No,
if,
you're right.
If stuff
That's
doesn't
preseason.
matter, Andy doesn't really care if he wins or loses. Where a lot of people still care to win the playoff games, Andy obviously doesn't give a shit. So
I will say,
since
in the
nothing matters
preseason-
here, Andy might just be like, well, let's try all kinds of stuff right before the playoffs here. Let's see what we can do and what we can't do. I don't know.
So the preseason doesn't matter, doesn't count for anything. This game is not that. This game, and it doesn't mean anything for the Chiefs, but it still means something for the Broncos. Still means something for the
Bengals and the
Bengals
Dolphins.
and the Dolphins. So I mean, there's still implications. Now, I think you guys have pretty much convinced me that I'd rather see the Broncos win because I'd rather see the Broncos in the playoffs than the Bengals. So is that the way Andy sees it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if he sees Carson Wentz out there throwing the ball and the receivers, whatever receivers that we see on the field are just making the plays and just it's one of those games where nothing can go wrong. I don't think he's just going to be like, well, all right, well, I think we're going to start running with our punter then. He's not going to do that. I think he'll win the game if it's there to win.
Yeah. I don't think he'll actively throw, but I think he'll try things that he might not try in the fourth quarter when it actually matters. I think that's something that could definitely be a thing that we see. So I'm interested to see that. But
So who would play? So who would the Broncos or the Bengals? Because either way, one of them would be the 8th seed, right?
Mhm.
Would they play Buffalo?
the
No matter
number
what,
2
first round?
seed, Buffalo
Yeah, so
is locked
Buffalo.
into the 2 seed, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're going to play Buffalo regardless.
Who do we want to play Buffalo then? Who do
Yeah.
you
See,
think?
now I'm
who do
kind
you
of
think-
considering Cincinnati might have a better
'Cause
chance to beat.
I'd rather play Cincinnati than Buffalo.
100%.
I would rather play Cincinnati than Buffalo too.
And I don't know that the Broncos can pull out a Buffalo win. Although Bo Nix has been looking pretty good. But
Yeah, but it's sporadic though.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
he'll have
not
good
Josh
games and
Allen.
he'll have okay games.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
his ceiling, I think his ceiling is yet to be determined. Honestly, I've seen some
Sure.
short spurts of. I don't want to say greatness because I'm not the guy that gets to say those words when we're talking about NFL professional players. But I've seen some spurts of some scary stuff for Chiefs fans. I mean, he's got some
Mhm.
speed. He's got Josh Allen speed. If he bulked up a little bit, we could have a little Josh Allen in our division, a Josh
Well,
Allen
let's
Jr.
not. Let's not do that.
I don't
Don't
know,
need
man.
that.
I hate to bring that out, but it could happen.
Who do the Bengals and the Bills haven't played each other this season, have they? I'm looking right now and it doesn't look like it. So,
I would look, but you're always way faster at that. So
yeah, no, I got it. They haven't. So that would be an interesting matchup. I just know they've both been putting up a ton of points.
Mhm.
I think the Bengals defense is worse than the Bills defense. The Bills defense I feel like has figured something more so out now, but I think they were struggling early on. I don't follow them nearly as well, so I could be completely wrong about that.
Well, I know they love their defense in Buffalo. I have a few Buffalo fans in my Facebook fan group. That is the area that I grew up in,
Mm.
though we
So,
weren't football fans yet. So
so the Bills would play the
The 8 seed, the Broncos, the Dolphins, or the Bengals.
so, but so there's still. I mean, there's still. This is weird.
do you think the Dolphins have it in them to beat the Bills? I think they could.
So the Bills would play the 8 seed, which would mean the Ravens would play the 7 seed. Okay.
No. Oh.
Yeah, because on the bubble, so there's only 7 total. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So the Ravens would play the 6 seed, and the Texans and Steelers would play if we went right now. Okay, so I'm trying to
I think the
figure out.
Ravens are locked in. The Texans are locked in.
Steelers locked in, Chargers locked in the hunt's the
I've got the list
Broncos.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh,
I'm
all the way
just-
up to the Chargers.
I'm just
The
trying to
Chargers
see
and
how
Steelers could flip-flop.
I'm just trying to see how it would play out. So there's 3 games in the AFC, 3 games in the NFC. How does that transfer? So then we get to play the lowest seed coming out of those three games.
Is that how that works? So it's not like we win the player of. So if Buffalo were to lose to Denver, we would get to
would
play Denver. But if not, then we wouldn't play the Bills. We'd play somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why I was trying to figure out how the Bills and Ravens would play, but they would play
That's
possibly
brilliant.
if
That's how they keep the later games in the playoffs really pertinent. You're more
Yeah.
likely to get the higher seeds. That's smart. I didn't know that.
yeah. So then if any of these lower seed teams win, it could be huge for at least our seeding. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, so that's why
I
the
just want the
number
Bills to go
one
out in the
seed in
first
both
round.
ones are so important now, is because like you get to come in week 2 and play the lowest ranked team when you get there, you know.
Yeah, I just want the Bills to go out the first round because I feel like if the Bills make it to the AFC Championship and we play them there, they're gonna bring
We
some
won't play him there.
craziness.
We'll play him here.
No, I just mean we play them in the AFC Championship
okay.
instead of them getting knocked out earlier, you know? But either way, I think I have faith that the Chiefs could do it. It will be much harder if we have to do it with the Bills.
I also think if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl for the third straight time, for a third straight win, then the rules should be changed and the home of the Super Bowl gets played in the home stadium. Yeehaw.
No longer the
At
Arrowhead
Arrowhead.
Invitational. It's the
Well, the AFC Championship is the Arrowhead Invitational. We took 1 year off, but you know, it's okay.
just had to prove that we could do it elsewhere. We
Elsewhere.
didn't want
Yeah.
people getting any crazy ideas.
That is such a crazy stat. Patrick Mahomes has never not made the AFC Championship game, except for when he wasn't the starter his rookie year. He's made the AFC Championship game every single year.
Yep.
That's video game. That's ridiculous.
Mhm.
That's my quarterback.
Oh man. Well,
What a great time to be a Chiefs
yeah.
fan.
So Zach Hale in chat says in Facebook chat, hey guys, if you're watching this, please share it out to everybody. Help us grow. On whatever platform you are watching on. But he says, who has the best shot to beat the Bills, the Broncos or the Bengals? That's who I'm rooting for. I take the Bengals on over Buffalo. Oh, I'll take the Bengals on over Buffalo. Yeah, definitely. But do you think the Broncos or the Bengals have a better chance of beating Buffalo? Somebody was trying to make the argument for the Broncos had a better chance. I was like, really?
That's a hard one to swallow, man. I mean, maybe just as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and you just hate the Broncos. I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine the Broncos beating the Bills. I just can't see it. I could see the Bengals doing it though, and maybe the Dolphins too. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that, but
I don't agree with you on that. I think the Dolphins are a weirdo team.
Right, but because of that weirdo, I don't know. You just never know. Any given Sunday, I'd rather see the Dolphins play the Bills than the Broncos.
Yeah. I don't know. The Broncos, I think, have been a lot better than people have thought. Like, that's the only thing. And then we're going to be playing all backups against them, so they're going to be feeling good. I don't know.
That'd be cool, man. Get their confidence up by beating the two-time defending world champion Chiefs, and then they go into the Bills and they're unstoppable. Unstoppable.
If they're like, if we could beat the Chiefs, we could beat the Bills. Duh.
Yeah. The Bills haven't won 2 Super Bowls in a row.
All right. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know that the Broncos have it in them this year, but it would also be a funny storyline that the Chiefs go, 15-2, 16-1, while being in the greatest division in the NFL, with 3 of the teams going to the playoffs. I mean, that would be a cool storyline for us. We're still that, even though we have to play them and they play us harder than they play all of you guys. So,
yeah, because the AFC West has historically been kind of a wash, like they weren't competing with us very well. I mean, they'd always compete with us very well, but we were like the only ones.
I mean, over the time, I think the AFC West has been the best division in football for the last 20 years, or at least the best division in the AFC for the last 20 years. I mean, I think back to when the Chiefs sucked, but the Broncos and the Chargers were really good
in the last 5 years.
And I think back to before Mahomes and everything. I remember years where the Chiefs were right in the Broncos spot, and the Chargers and the Broncos were already in, and we had, I'm pretty sure we had another playoff where, we went out in the first round, of course, but we had a playoff where it was all 3 of the AFC West. I mean, this has been a strong division for the last 2 decades.
Yeah, I'm
even
saying
before the Chiefs.
Since Mahomes, they haven't been very strong.
Mm-mm.
And
they've struggled pretty hard.
Really struggled.
Mahomes is responsible for killing the AFC West.
Yeah. Well,
he's also responsible for bringing them back up, because
rebuilding.
They're obviously back up now. Almost every team in the AFC West has a good quarterback. They're all have good coaches. I mean,
the last 3 years they were supposed to be good, like the Bengals, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. Like the last 3 years, I feel like the preseason storylines are always they've really got it figured out. They're going to be great, and then they're not.
I feel like that's been the Raiders storyline every year for the last 10 years.
Okay, yeah.
Every single year. I feel like that. Remember when Gruden was there? Oh, Gruden, 10-year contract. This guy's going to bring this franchise back. Well, I don't know. He was taking his time doing it, but,
Mhm.
then he hit a roadblock.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm glad he hit that roadblock because
Well, he hit
they
that road.
could
He
have
put that
come
roadblock
up.
there. I don't know if you're aware of what happened, but he got himself.
I know.
Okay.
I don't care about that shit. And obviously people in the NFL and players don't care about it either because Gruden's still super involved across the league. So who the cares? Yeah, so what was the next thing I wanted to bring up? The next thing is definitely should we sit people? And if we do sit people, how long? Like this is the age-old sit or don't sit. I mean, the Colts used to do it all the time. I just remember the Peyton Manning years, and the Colts would sit Peyton the last 2 games, and then they'd go out the first game of the playoffs or the second game, and they would never get it done. And a lot of people said that they were, they were slow because, they spend all that time in
Resting.
Well, but
and
hold on. The resting part comes after, but you spend all that time just in the season, and your adrenaline's going and it's keeping you going, and then you get this off time, and all of a sudden you just kind of get slow and fat, and that's what I don't want to see happen to the Chiefs here. I'd love to see Pat Mahomes play for a quarter. That's what I want to see. I want to see all the starters come out, play for a quarter, and then no matter what is going on in the game, sit them after that. That's what I want to see. I just want to see him come out
even
and do
in the middle of
something.
a series, like if it's 2nd and 3 and quarter ends, start the next.
Well, no, you could. I mean,
give
you
him that
could.
drive.
Yeah, you could end out the drive. I just want to see them stay.
What would happen if he got hurt in that quarter, though?
Mm-hmm.
God, and his ankle is tender.
Yeah.
And
I
Mahomes
think
is
it's
a professional. He's not going to let himself atrophy.
for 2 or 3 weeks. Like,
And I'm
I
not
don't
talking
know.
about just Mahomes, guys. I'm talking about
No.
everybody.
Right.
I
But
think
Mahomes
that
specifically.
if we had a late buy,
Mahomes is the
I
one
would
I'm
agree with
least
you.
worried about sitting.
Okay, I think if we had a late buy, I'd agree with you. But we had such an early buy. These people need a little bit of respite. They need to let their bodies heal a little bit. I'm not worried that, like, we're going for a 3-peat. Like, the pressure is on, the momentum is there. We've, barely put it together. But if we lose one starter in this meaningless game because we're afraid that one quarter is going to help these people stay in shape, like,
It's not
that's
in
ridiculous.
shape. It's not in shape. It's in the game mindset. I don't know how to explain it. There might be a word for it, but not playing in one game definitely throws you off, throws rhythm off. It just does. We've seen it over the years. That's why I'm worried about playing.
Yeah,
Not
but
playing people that
we have like the best record after a bye, so it's not like a week off makes us worse.
after a mid-season bye with Andy Reid. Yeah,
Right.
that is a stat. That is a good point.
Yeah.
The only difference is that this is multiple weeks, right? Because do playoffs start immediately the next week?
So I think
They do
this year they
Yeah.
are. Last year we had a week off in the middle, and they did the Pro Bowl in that time, which was interesting. So this year I think we'll have a week off. Well, I mean, we had a week off before the Super Bowl too. So I think we'll still have that. Like we'll still have the
Right.
Super Bowl week leading up because they make a
So
lot
this
of
will give
money
them
off of that.
2 weeks. So they'll get 2 weeks to rest because if we rest our final game and then we have the bye, it gives us 2 weeks to rest.
Well, you have to think
And
we
for-
also got a week and a half rest because we played Christmas Wednesday.
Christmas, yeah.
But
Yeah.
think of what that did to their bodies. But you know, like it's kind of like working out too, right? Like if you stop, like if you don't work out again because you got sore, it's only going to get worse.
Mhm.
As opposed to like they're kind of in this like push right now of like we're gonna do it no matter what.
That's
But
the
I
whole point.
but I think we'll see more injuries if they don't give them this time off.
I don't know what I want. I don't know. I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of wanting to see the starters play because we're worried about all of that momentum and whatnot that we're describing. And if they do that, then they get injured. And then if they don't, if they sit all the starters, and then we just come out and just lay an egg when we do, it's like I don't know what the right answer is. I'll tell you what. I think they should go ahead and sit the starters with the understanding that Andy Reid and this team know what they're getting into and know what the danger of sitting everybody is and making sure that everybody is in the weight room every day, on the practice field, pushing 90%. Man, getting somebody injured, I think they can battle through that part of it.
Could go
You know what I
both
mean?
ways too. If we sit a whole bunch of now, remember we can't sit all of the starters.
everybody.
Like
Right.
we can sit 7 to 8 key players if we
Everyone.
want to, right? I mean, the rosters. This isn't college. The rosters aren't built to sit everybody. But now that I think about it, if we sit a ton and just get beat up by the Broncos, maybe the talking heads, the analysts with all the bad takes, Rex Ryan looking at you. Seriously, bro. You're a great coach, but God, you're a bad analyst. So those guys would be like, oh, the Chiefs are cooked. They're going to go out right away. They are with like they maybe that would be good for the Chiefs in the fact that it'll just fuel them and piss them off. You know, that's what you've talked about, Buck. You want them to all be against us. So I don't know. I mean, maybe.
So are we in agreement then? Do we want them to sit their starters? I think that's where I lie right now. I think
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I want the Stars to play the first quarter. I want them to get a little flesh in the game.
Who do you want them to play specifically?
Everybody,
Okay.
except for like Pacheco, Chris Jones, the people that are on the injury list that need to
Holmes?
sit. Actually,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, didn't Andy Reid pretty much already say that he's gonna have Carson Wentz out there and give him an opportunity to show what he's got?
Well,
Why
he
would he
said
take that away?
Pacheco.
no.
Oh,
I didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't
I thought that was
I
what you
didn't say
said.
that. No, I said I couldn't imagine a world where he would
Oh.
bring up somebody from the practice squad and not give Carson Wentz his due time. He said today in the presser that he has not made the final call on who will be resting and who will not, and playtime, and he'll get into that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the people on the injury list, and Patrick Mahomes is not on the injury list. Oh, he is. Damn it. He is. He has full practice. Okay, well, I thought he wasn't. Xavier Worthy's on there too with an ankle.
I would be all right with all of the starters minus Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones, and then
Jones.
Pacheco because
Pacheco.
he's hurt. Yeah,
I'd be fine with that. I think
but I'd
Mahomes
like
is
to
going to be
see.
fine sitting a game.
And the reason for that is not the injury thing for me. Is I would like to see Carson Wentz behind our line as it sits right now.
See, I would love to see Suamatia get a chance to like start at right tackle. I would
Right.
love
Yeah.
to see that. I don't know why they refuse to do that. I mean, it might light a fire under Jawan Taylor's ass and maybe get him to stop getting so many penalties. You never know. I'm just saying
Haven't we
that
paid Juwan
was,
Taylor?
huh?
Didn't we pay Juwan Taylor though?
He's still got a couple years on his contract. We paid him when we brought him in. Not last season, but the season before. Pretty sure it was the season before. Yeah.
Yeah, my problem with Juwan, he's so sporadic. Last year it was every single game he was getting 2 or 3 penalties. This season, he's gone 2, 3, 4, even 5 games without even hearing his name once. But then
Um,
he has a game where it's
It's like
just
4 in one
he
game.
makes up all for all the games that he did good, and he'll have
Mhm.
it's like, come on, man. Like I think it needs to be one of those things that he's good until he gets a penalty, then take him out.
Yeah. I would just
Maybe give
like to see him.
Kingsley a chance, but
I would just like to see him. I don't know.
I
don't
just
know.
haven't heard anything that tells me that anybody's even considered that.
I think we rest Worthy. I think we should rest Worthy. I think there's little benefit to having Worthy out there with Wentz when he's just starting to get the timing with Mahomes. And I think he's he's a tiny guy. He can get hurt easily.
Yeah, my only thing is Worthy has been I feel like he's improved every single week, and man, I'd hate to stop that improvement.
Worthy's
Um,
becoming a thing. I'd love to see Worthy get a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just get at least a little bit.
Unless he really is injured. If he's got something, nagging him even a little bit, yeah, maybe then keep him out. But I think he'd be the one guy that's starting that the one starter that I'd be like, man, I'd really like to see him out there.
Do we
I
rest
think it would.
Tooney?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Because what if Tooney gets hurt? If Tooney gets hurt, we're so effed. Like, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, but if Tooney doesn't play, then we've got 2 injured running backs and an injured backup quarterback.
Tooney doesn't get hurt though. I mean,
That's right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, a dog never bites until it does.
Some players don't. That's why you call players injury prone. That's why I'm so down on Pacheco, because he's injury prone. He gets hurt. Like it's just. I mean, it is a thing, and some people have more brittle bones than others.
Cody Fortson.
Some people also protect themselves better. Going back to our Worthy conversation about him, instead of dragging his foot, you saw when he got pushed, his leg automatically, or at least it looked automatic, probably was in that short time, went forward to catch him rather than taking, knowing that he's going to take a huge hit on his upper body to make that catch. Some players know how to not get hurt, and Worthy, being as small as he is, has probably been doing that his entire career because, smaller you are. Although the smaller you are, the less impact momentum-wise you have when you run into another player. If a semi-truck hits a semi-truck, whoa, it's crazy. But if a semi-truck hits a smaller car, and you think about it just pops off of them, So if they know how to, that's why I think, Tyreek Hill hasn't been hurt. If you look at little players, they don't generally get hurt as much as the bigger guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be a weird game. I'm so not used to this as a Chiefs fan. I'm not
Especially
used
this
to having
season.
these options to sit people. And Andy talked about it in his presser today. He's learned so much over the years about what to do here and what not to do. Problem is he didn't tell us what those things were. It's like, why do we do
And he's
these
not.
pressers?
And he's
He
not
won't,
going
though.
to.
Yeah, why do we do these?
I think he probably at this point hasn't fully decided. I think he's fully decided on like Chris Jones, Mahomes, Travis Kelce, right? I think he's fully decided those three and Pacheco are sitting. And Hunt. I'm pretty sure Hunt's gonna sit. Like I
And
don't see any reason to put Hunt.
And he's
I
probably
want
still
Hunt to
going
sit.
through. Oh, me too. Yeah. But I think he's probably seriously contemplating the offensive line situation. Like if he does sit any of those guys, and especially Tooney, what happens to our backups in the backfield? Who knows? It could be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we play Tooney and just kind of hope that he stays injury free?
I don't know. I think you put in
I
who's the
vote
guy
yes.
that started there?
Well, it was Kingsley that
Suamataia.
started. Yeah, and then when he sucked, Wanye came in, and Wanye was
Wande's still on the
decent
injury report too.
until he got hurt. Yeah, and once he got hurt, he was just Suamataia
Wait,
all over.
Wanye Morris isn't on the. No, it's Jawan Taylor that's on. Wanye is not on here, but he wasn't on the injury report when he was hurt before. He was hurt, but they didn't report it. I don't know.
I wonder if it was
Wanye-
one of those day-to-day
Wanye
things that ended up
played-
being weeks.
Didn't Wanye end up playing right tackle?
Oh, that's right, he did.
He did
Wanye
last
ended up playing
week.
right
Last
tackle for
week.
Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole time before he was playing
Oh, I know.
left
He was
tackle.
on the left. Yeah, I
Right,
know,
but her
I
point
think
is he's not injured. He's
he was
available
just on the
to
other side.
play. Would he be all right at left tackle? If he's not injured, I think he was decent.
I think he
I'd
put
be all right
him
with
in
Tooney.
on left, and you put
Yeah.
Suamataia in on right, and then you let Tooney let Tooney chill, and let what's his name keep playing guard.
Caliendo.
Yep,
Yeah.
Caliendo.
I agree. I think Caliendo needs to keep playing guard because I think he's still kind of figuring that out. But I think you rest Tooney. I think you put either Kingsley or Suamataia or Morris. I don't care who. You put one of them on the left side, one of them on the right side, and we figure it out. But
My
we can
only
wrestle.
issue with Caliendo and his continuation of playing is that I'm pretty convinced that's where our running game has really hit a brick wall, is
Oh,
because
100%.
he's just not there, and I don't think he will be. It just didn't look like he was making mistakes.
He's just
let me
not opening
rephrase that.
holes. He's not opening up.
Yeah, he's not overpowering his defensive opponent.
He's pass protecting. He's not run protecting. You know what I mean? So like,
Mhm.
but I'm okay with that. If somebody is not rushing to Mahomes within, 0.3 seconds, I'm
Yeah.
okay with that for now. I think Hunt figures out how to get through the line and how to figure out how to get a good play here and there. But I think him playing guard is still, I don't think we need to sit him.
I disagree with you on Caliendo coming to guard causing our rushing problems. I think it's more Joe Tooney going out to tackle and just being a very, very undersized tackle. He was already an undersized guard. I think him being able to pass block is because he's got the knowledge. He's a future Hall of Fame guard. He has the knowledge of how to do that, but he does not have the power to push that left side running. So I think that's where
He's
we've
at
actually
left tackle, he's not the one that has to push the left side.
Yeah, he is. That's
Not
why
run in the middle.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
talking. We
if you
weren't
run through the
doing.
middle.
We weren't doing outside runs though. Like outside
Yeah,
runs,
no.
we were doing end rounds. Maybe.
We were doing between the guard and tackle runs quite a bit.
Okay, I thought we were doing more between the guards, but
We do that a bunch too. Probably more, but I mean, yeah, we still run outside the tackle and through the tackle and the guard quite a bit.
see, I think when we're running through the tackle and the guard, I think the tackle is trying to stop that left side from getting to the quarterback. In my opinion, the
Not
guard,
on
I
a
feel
run.
like,
Not
is
on a run. You don't care about the quarterback on a run.
okay. Yes, I know that.
Yeah,
But-
so the tackle's tried to. He's your front man on a run through the guard and the tackle.
Okay, I will agree with you that I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I don't think Tooney is a rock star left tackle by any stretch. I think he's a very capable left tackle, but I think he's a rock star left guard, right? So, but to think that Tooney is a capable left tackle and is able to stop them from getting the pass protection, are you telling me that Morris and Kingsley or Morris and whoever else played before
Suamatia.
him?
Yeah, Kingsley
Yeah.
Suamatia.
Are you saying that they were better run blockers than pass blockers?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I just that's where I think the problem is with our run game is just that. Like I think you got to have the big tackles. I mean, having the really good interior is what is supposed to allow quarterbacks when throwing to step into the pocket and feel comfortable there, which is a good spot for them. But the tackles definitely play into the run game a ton. I mean, that's why tackles get paid more. Their job is bigger than both the guards and the center.
I thought it was just because they were pass blocking.
No,
I think
that's
everybody
why
technically
the
pass
left
blocked at
tackle
some point,
gets
right?
paid more because of they're usually on the blind side. But no, the whole line has to do both. And
If you
some
have a
guys are better.
left-handed quarterback, does your right tackle get left tackle money?
I was just wondering the same thing. Or do they call the right tackle the blindside tackle
Yeah,
for a left-handed
right?
quarterback?
Yeah, at that point he is the blindside tackle. But who's
I
a
know he
left-handed
is, but do they
quarterback?
call it Tua?
Is he?
Or is Russell?
I don't think so.
I feel like one of them is. Mel's already on it.
Yeah,
He's checking it.
it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But just like we've talked about in the past, just getting an awesome left tackle and putting him in it right doesn't help you. What those teams probably end up doing is just getting the best right tackle, that they can in the league, and then just getting a so-so left tackle. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, the reason the left tackle is so important on passing downs is just because it's the quarterback's blind side, and he's not going to be able to do anything about it if they get by. So he's just
Tua
not going to
is
know.
left-handed.
Tua
And
called
so
it.
is Michael Penix Jr.
I was going to say that next.
So only one quarterback in the league is left-handed, basically.
Yeah, well, considering
One starting
10% of the
quarterback.
population.
Did the Falcons bench Kirk Cousins? They did in December. Michael Penix is their starter now.
So two.
Interesting. Well,
Michael Vick was left-handed.
Well,
He was.
we pretty much filled the hour. I mean, do we really want to talk about there's no key. I'm interested to see what Carson Wentz does, because I just think the guy deserves a spot someplace else. And just like Andy Reid said, I feel greedy keeping him here when he could maybe have his own glory someplace else. But I
mean, what a kick-ass backup quarterback to lose, though.
I know.
I felt so great about that all season. Like if your guy falls down, Carson Wentz has got to be one of the best backups in the history of the game.
Who did we have before Wentz? Who was our last backup?
Matt Moore?
No,
he was really good.
Oh my gosh, when Kelsey had
Heinz.
And you're onto it. It's an H.
I know it's
Henny.
Chad
Henne.
Henne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he the one that he had like the 98-yard touchdown drive?
Mhm.
Yep.
He was great. When we went to the live New Heights podcast down at Bartle Hall, they were like announcing who the next guest was, and they were like, 3-time Super Bowl winner, quarterback, blah blah blah. Like they went through all of this, then they brought out Chad Henne, and then they're like,
Everybody thought Mahomes was coming out. They were like, who that? He's not even a good lookalike for Mahomes.
They did
God,
bring
it was
out
hilarious.
Mahomes though, but
They did bring out Mahomes
later.
afterwards.
I
But
mean,
it was hilarious.
I mean, shoot, they had what's his name? The NFL, the head of the
Commissioner Goodell.
yeah, Commissioner Goodell came out on the podcast. Like, dude, that was one of the best live podcasts I've ever seen. It was so freaking good.
It was also the draft weekend, right? So it was the draft was there, and so that's why Goodell was there. But he did make an appearance, which was really nice. He opened it, I think, like announced it and was like the first new like he does the draft. It was pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yep, and then Jason Kelsey in a diaper. I'll never forget that.
Yep.
And all the tweets from Philadelphia fans being like, "What are they doing to Jason in Kansas City? Somebody please bring him home."
He's having fun.
Jason did that very willingly.
Oh,
I'm sure he did.
He's so great.
Yeah,
He's so great.
100%.
I love that he doesn't take himself way too seriously. Both Kelsey brothers.
Too bad he
Yeah.
was
Love it.
never a chief. But yeah,
I
I
know.
know. Ugh.
any
But he
last-
was with Andy Reid, so there's like this connection. We can be okay with it. And we beat him in the Super Bowl, so we kind of feel bad for him too. You know, we love him.
I don't
It's
feel
okay.
that bad.
I don't either, but you know, if he would have beat us in the Super Bowl, I'd be mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
So now I can just
He
feel bad
wouldn't
for
be.
him
He
instead.
wouldn't be welcome in Kansas City. That's for sure. That's not true. That's not true. That guy's got
It's not.
personality. Just
Oh my
float
gosh,
out
he's
of his
amazing.
pores.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
The last thing I wanted to bring up really quick was just interesting. Blake Lynch signed to the active roster. He's a linebacker. Signed to our active roster today, not our practice squad. So was it Mike? Who was it? Who was the linebacker we got hurt recently?
Leo Chanel, I think,
Yeah.
in the last game. Yeah.
So I believe he's
We got
being
rid
brought
of
on.
Chanel?
No,
Did you say we got rid of Chanel?
No, he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
I was like, I'm sorry. What?
So
No.
we brought this linebacker in. You might ask yourself, why bring him in when we've got Untz? What the heck is his name? The guy Uche from the
Uche.
Patriots.
Uche.
Uche's a pass rusher in a 3-4. That's why. The 4-3 linebackers are coverage and tacklers. But this guy, I looked at all of his stuff. He's really only good at tackling. So he's most likely only going to be seeing special teams play, and maybe if they're almost positive it's a run. I mean, so he's just depth because we have an injury, and I wouldn't look to really see him have any. He was an undrafted free agent when he came in the league 4 years ago, and I wouldn't really expect much from him.
Yeah. Is there players on IR have 21 days?
Once they're taken
There's
off
not like
IR,
a-
they have 21 days to be moved to the active roster before they go on IR for the rest of the season.
But if somebody's on season-ending IR, they can't come back for playoffs, right?
If they're on season-ending IR,
They can't come back for playoffs.
yeah. But if they're
Correct.
just on I don't know if you can bring them back after playoffs start to the 21-day thing. I don't know. That I'm actually interested to know now. Huh. I don't. Yeah.
You can only have 8 players return from IR during the regular season.
Oh,
10 if you make the postseason.
that's a new
Really?
one that I did not know.
Yeah.
I never would have even thought that there was a app on how many people you can bring back from IR. Maybe that's why we didn't see Wanye on the IR.
Mhm.
Would you guys want what's his name? 3 figures? What's his name? Receiver. Originally a giant. Used to be amazing fantasy pick. Mel had him 1 year. I cannot think of
What are
his
you talking
name.
about?
Receiver. Recently released. Used to be a giant.
Oh,
Famous for catching a ball with a thumb and 2 fingers.
Oh, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
but no, I don't want
And
to.
yeah,
What is his name?
that's gonna drive me nuts.
God, this drives me nuts that these just I know them all until I'm on camera and on the mic, and then it's like
Yep, blank.
blank. Yeah.
Yep.
And for all of you at home just thinking these idiots, try it.
Yeah, Mel's gonna
Um,
find it.
Yeah, it was one of your favorite fantasy players.
Junior, something junior.
Yep. But he is a free agent, and he's talking about wanting to go to a team, and he's sucked for seasons now. And he keeps going to different teams. Like he went to the Rams, won a Super Bowl, but then refused to sign back with them after that. And just he's always going to greener pastures. What was his name? OBJ. Thank you.
Odell Beckham.
Odell
That's
Beckham
it.
Jr. Yep. Yeah, and he's an idiot. He really thinks that like a team's gonna pick him up, and I think anybody who picks him up for the postseason has not been paying attention. I mean, even if you pay him a vet minimum deal, I mean, he's just gonna come in and be a pain in the ass. He hasn't done anything meaningful for years now, besides having a really funny viral video of him on a plane.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it was great. It was great. He refused to get off, and yeah, dead end.
Oh, so
The cops come and pull him off the plane. Oh, it was great.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my god.
Yeah, the guy is not bright.
Titled. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a lot going on for this Broncos game. I don't know that we have the answers.
Predictions.
There's no predictions. Who's the backup you want to see the most play from?
Me, Carson Wentz. I mean,
And then who's the
I've got-
defensive player you want to see the most?
Probably Pinnell.
Oh, okay.
Mike Pinnell.
Okay. Wait, no, I said defensive player.
Mike Pinnell.
Mike
He's-
Pinnell. Okay, I thought you were, for some reason, P. Ryan was coming in my head. I want to see Hicks get like starting play, and I want to see him just kind of let Reed have a little bit of a rest. I want to see what Hicks can do over there. I mean, it'd be fine to sit Cook, but I think it'd be better to sit Reed just because I think Reed's better. But I'd love to see Hicks starting the whole game. And I would love to see Suamataia try out right tackle, please. Try out right tackle, please. Mel?
I don't know. I'm excited to see Carson Wentz, just because we haven't seen him, and I feel like there's a lot of hype there on offense. On defense, probably. I don't know. One of our corners. But I feel like all of our corners have played, really.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a revolving door. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like we've seen them all, and they've all been
McDuffie,
underwhelming, to be
and then
honest.
there's the other defensive backs.
McDuffie and then the others. So I guess it would have to be. Is there anybody on defense that we haven't seen? I'm looking at our depth chart right now, and I seriously feel like I've seen. I don't know who Keith Taylor Jr. is, but Sure, let's see him.
King Jamie the Mad in chat says Remigio. We haven't talked about Remigio. Besides this one fumble, has done really good, man. I've really
Listen.
liked him.
When you fumble it, you get on the naughty list, and then we don't
Oh.
talk about you.
Yeah, but even when he fumbled it, it bounced right back
Eh,
into
nah,
a Chiefs. I mean, right back into, like, boom, like there
that
was a
was luck.
magnet
That was
in
like
the
the doink of
football
destiny.
and a magnet in the dude's gloves.
Mhm, mhm. I agree.
All right. Well, I think that's good for this episode. There's there's a lot coming up. We have a lot to talk about coming, through the playoffs. Those are going to be great episodes. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any of our stuff. If you're watching on Facebook or on X, please reshare this to everybody on your friends list or follow list and just help us grow, spread the word about us. And if you want to find all of our links, it's buckandbob.com, BUKNBOB.com. And you can find everything there. Buck, where can we find you?
As always, I'm on Facebook. And then you can find me on Twix. It's at Buck_tastic, BUK_TASTIK.
And then you can find Mel on Twix, Twitter, and X at
No, you can't.
what happened to Mel Overwatch?
Nope, you can find me here.
You still haven't figured out how to turn that to Mel Chiefs?
Nope.
Well, you can find her on Twix at Mel Overwatch. You can find me on Twitter, X, Twix at Blazin_Bob. That's BLAZZIN_BOB. And if you're savvy, you could join our Facebook group and actually find my actual name. Woo, 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 woo. And you can find out why Buck's called Buck, too, if you're really savvy.
Okay.
Awesome.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Latest in the Minjay.
Bye.